We were talking in the break about, what is it, social proving?
Yeah,
versus
social proof versus social media.
Okay, break that down.
So we were just sharing, I was just sharing how unfortunately we live in an era where people are following people straight to mediocrity. You see someone who's really slick with social media posting, they're giving all of this unfounded advice, and you're taking it and it's not coming to anything because they're not doing anything in real life. They're spending all their time on social media looking like they're doing something, and that people have lost the art of discernment, and they're not aligning themselves with the vetted, because the vetted might look a little boring. The vetted might have 100 followers, but they're actually out there running their business or whatever it is that you're looking for, right? So I said the problem is that human beings have leaned into something called social proof for as long as we've been alive. Social proof is this we use this as a function to decision make. It's a shortcut to decision making, and it's something that just happens naturally in us, right? You see, like, like, let's just say, a million years ago, you see an animal eat from this bush with blueberries on it, and you're like, well, I am alive, that animal's alive, they ate from the blue bush, they're still alive, therefore that bush must be safe. Or I see these animals running in one direction and they look like they have fear in their eyes. I don't need to go check it out. I don't need to figure out if they're running, I need to run as well. That's social proof, right? Or you see a sister, her sister locks are popping, and you're like, I personally have sister locks. Who did yours? I don't need to try every sister loctician in Irvington or Newark. I could just go to where she went because hers look amazing. It is a shortcut to making decisions, and it's a good tool that we use. Unfortunately, it's been short-circuited by social media, because you can now manufacture social proof. You can now say, eat from the bush, and then cut out the part where the animal dies. And so all I saw was the bush eating part. I'm like, oh, that seems good. And it's like, no. What they didn't show you in that TikTok, in that 30-minute reel, in that 1-minute upload, is that the consequence on the other side. They've made the actual action attractive, but not the consequence of what happens on the other side. And so as a result, we as human beings have to exercise the muscle of discernment of, does that make sense? Like last night I was talking to my mentee and she was telling me about some business person she wanted to like follow and be like. I was like, not to shade on sis that you're talking about. She was in my inbox last week talking about, my business is about to crumble. What should I do? She was like, what? I said, yes, ma'am, you need to consider the source. Like your grandmother said, you need to have discernment, baby. We need to go back to that. Where is your discernment? You need to consider the source. Here's the thing. Apple trees yield apples. If there's no apples coming off that tree, it ain't an apple tree. So if you're saying, I want to follow someone to grow wealth, but you don't know them to have wealth, then what are you doing? They're teaching you.
Tiff, we've seen people on social media on these platforms with the Maseratis and the Ferraris. They'll have 10 cars. They'll show you the video of their new house that they just purchased, their mansion, their $1 million mansion. They have wealth. They have jewels. They have all of the trappings, right?
No, they have stuff. That's where the discernment comes in. And I understand if you're really, really young, that sometimes you don't realize that people can rent those things. That people can, because what you will typically find is someone truly who has wealth, unless they're a celebrity, typically does not flaunt their wealth in that way, unless they're a celebrity, because that's just part of celebrity culture, And so if I'm following an accountant and he's like, oh, look at my Maserati, it's like, the average person does not do that, because want to know why? As my husband, born and bred in Newark, would say, you look like a Vic. Oh, you got a Maserati? Oh, okay, I'm gonna come see you when you're on vacation. I'm gonna come see you when you're out the house. I'm gonna come see you when you're in the house. So a lot of people, regular people with real wealth, don't do that because they know it puts them in a position of danger. And so I know it can be, that's why discernment is such a tool, and it takes a lot to practice discernment. And not wanting to jump into what's the shiny, obvious thing. Sometimes you just have to listen for consistency. I thought last week they said they make 6-figure, but now they say they make 7, but now they say they make 8. And now, and why is the sell so hard? If you're doing so well, why are you, I remember I had this coach that wanted to be a business coach. And I told her oh, maybe I'll sign up next week. You would have thought I told her I wasn't gonna pay her rent, because that's probably what it was. She was having a heart attack. You got to sign up. Oh, you're not serious about your life. I'm like, that's a hard sell for somebody with all this money. And so you have to lean into not just what people say, but how is it feeling to you? Does that really feel authentic? You as a human being get to tap into something that's unique to human beings. You can feel other people if you allow yourself to. Does that, like, y'all are here listening to Karen because you feel her. She's consistent. It's the Karen that you've been listening to for years. And you're like, there's realness here because you as a human being, you are able to tap into that thing inside yourself that feels the realness in someone else. Like, don't be so swayed. That's why I don't spend it. I used to spend a lot of time on social media, especially for business. And now I've outsourced a lot of it to my team because I found that it was, for me, even swaying what I believe to be true. Like, that doesn't make solid business sense, Tiffany. We're not going in that direction. That is social media cute, but not actually cute on the back end. And the more, I'm telling you, Karen, when I took 6 weeks off, that's why I wasn't here, y'all. Sorry for my absence. I took 6 weeks off. And in that 6 weeks, when I took 6 weeks off of working in social media, I came up with more viable business ideas. I had more, like, I couldn't believe, without the cloud of social media swaying like what I thought to be a good idea or bad idea, because maybe it doesn't look sexy on the front end. And when I tell you, like, I mean, there are some things happening, and let's just say 9 figures. And I'm just like, wow, this would not have happened if I was looking at social media. Somebody will TikTok you all the way through mediocrity. Like, don't follow people into the hole they found themselves like, yeah. So, like, I'm sorry that, like, I know people are like, oh, no, Tiffany's on one today, but I'm like, it needs to be said.
This is super important. And matter of fact, I made a decision to start a social media platform, but it's not really a social media platform. It's a social action platform, and people on there building and connecting and growing. And, that's what we should be doing with our time, connecting with people who are like-minded, who are about doing something, whether it's building your knowledge base, building your farm, building your business, but doing it because we need one another. The collective is important, but, doing it in a space where you got to bat away trolls and argue over dumb stuff that's not going to free us. I'm like, who's got time for that? We've wasted enough. We have things to do. So this is why it's important that people get good with money. And not just get the book, but get good with money.